Okay, so while the recording is working from the background, I'm going to make some person's code. Okay, the recording has started. That's fine. So I'm going to make some person's codes so that we'll manage the class together, and they can be able to interact with me while we continue with the class. Abiodun Fatima Yabo, I'll make you a host now. Please make sure your background, there's no noise from your background. It's very important. Right? The screen will be white. Just exercise patience. The screen will be white. Don't worry. We are just trying to make sure our house are kept. Doing some of your housekeeping. Yes. So Abiodun Fatima, you can unmute. You know it goes. Let me see. Then let me see. Let me try Abiodun Lawal. We can't promote that person. So why? Okay. At least you can see my screen now. So let's move on to the business of the day. You are welcome to May 2025 case study Preseen class. So for those of you who joined the general classes, we went through the exhibits in the Preseen, only that we're not able to finish because of my schedules. I was not around, so I just got back late last night, so we could not finish. But it is not an issue. I'm still going to run through what we have in the Preseen, then we move to the unseen before we now start to look at what we have to do and how we have to provide a solution to this, right? Okay, in this case study for this diet, we are having 5 exhibits in the Preseen, and these are the lists. This is the list of the exhibits. So if taking a look at exhibit 1, exhibit 2, exhibit 3, we could not look at exhibit 4 and 5, but like I said, I'm still going to run through all the exhibits in the Preseen before we move to the exhibits in the unseen. For those of you that are co-hosts, Abiodun Lawal, you are now a co-host. Can you try to unmute your mic? Let me hear you. I need some persons to be live with me. I need some persons to be live with me so that we can manage the class together. Okay. I think the screen should be wide right now. Okay. So, exhibit 1, about you. Matthew Idemudia. That is your name in the exam. The name you are going to appear for 4 hours, 15 minutes inside the examination hall. So you are Matthew Idemudia, an accounting graduate, writing the professional level of ICAN examination. You are employed as finance and business analyst by Defcon Manufacturing Limited. You report to Tarfa Gambari, the company's director of finance. Your responsibilities include preparing detailed financial analysis, analyzing company's financial statements, assessing operational and strategic business proposals, assessing the company's financial and business forecasts, analyzing the company's internal and external business environments, advising the board and management on sustainability issues, and drafting reports for your boss based on the operational and strategic business analysis you have carried out. Carrying out these responsibilities effectively demands that you keep abreast yourself with the developments in the accounting and taxation space and the business environment, both nationally and internationally. So from this exhibit, we identified that this is an internal report. Why is it an internal report? Because you work for a company, not a firm. You do not work for a consulting firm. If you're working for a consulting firm, we would know that reports that you are preparing in a consulting firm, those reports are going outside to your clients. But this one, you are working in an organization whereby your reports will be useful internally. And we have actually ascertained this. And you report to Tarfa Gambari, who is your finance director. That is who your report goes to as a draft. So we've identified that this is an internal report, and these are your responsibilities. So your responsibilities requires that you analyze, you assess, you prepare financial analysis, and analyze financial statements, and you draft reports. Your report is not final. And the reason why it is not final is because you have a boss that is going to sign off your reports. That is why it is not final. Okay, that's about exhibit 1. Then exhibit 2 has to do with the Nigerian economy as a whole. And if you attended the general class, I took my time. The essence of those general classes is to actually save our time by the time we get to this type of class. I took my time to analyze each aspect of this report, of this exhibit 2. It is classified into four parts. Part 1, I highlighted some of the issues on paragraph by paragraph basis. Some of the issues that your examiner highlighted under each paragraph. We got them. And I also dealt at the challenges in the economy. We looked at the opportunities in the economy and also the business environments. So this is addressing the general overview of the Nigerian economy as a whole. It is very, very important. This is addressing the Nigerian economy as a whole. So we do not really have much time to be going through this one after another because we have actually gone through it in a very elaborate manner. So there is no point. How this will be useful in providing your report or your solution or your answer, we are going to come to it later. But I'm just giving you a rundown of what we have done before. Then we move to exhibit 3, and I also took my time to explain. This exhibit 3 is boiling. It is actually bringing it down to the industry that the company you work for, Defcon Manufacturing Limited, the industry it operates in, which is the diaper and sanitary pad industry. Exhibit 2 is talking about the general economy, Nigerian economy, while Exhibit 3 is talking about the industry under the economy, which is the diaper and sanitary pad industry. And we also had a look at all the necessary information here for those of you who joined the class. And I made this mandate that people should be taking notes. So if you go through your notes, you are going to know that you have actually gone through this, all the issues that your examiner is addressing here on paragraph by paragraph basis. I took it on paragraph by paragraph basis. So it is very, very elaborate and very, very understanding. And in this exhibit, your examiner also highlighted some opportunities and some threats in the industry. So we could not have a look at Exhibit 4 and Exhibit 5. So what is Exhibit 4 talking about? Exhibit 4 is talking about the company as a whole. So it's just like a pyramid, right? We took it from the economy as a whole, Nigerian economy, the challenges, the threats, the business environment, and we boiled it down to the industry, which is the sanitary and diaper and sanitary pad industry. And then Exhibit 4 has now boiled it down to your own company itself. Defcon Manufacturing Limited. Incorporated in 2005, and it started operation in March 2005. So the company has various product lines. Luxury diapers, which is one, and sanitary pads. This is for luxury people. This is for luxury sake, right? We have super diapers and sanitary pads. They also have simple diapers and sanitary pads. And recently they added economy diapers and sanitary pads for the common people. So there are 4: luxury, super, simple, and economy. So those are the 4 classes of products that the company you work for is producing. So where do they have their factory? Their factory is located in 3 locations of the country: Ikeja, Port Harcourt, and Kaduna. However, it has depot in each state's capital in the country, where its distributors are serviced by depot managers. Okay, production and marketing. The company imports about 70% of its raw materials from overseas, while the balance 30% is sourced locally. Labor is sourced locally where the factories are situated. However, the company has a technical director at the head office in Ikeja, where he oversees the production and technical issues. So what they are telling you here is that for labor, every local community, they source their labor. The company source labors from the community where those factories are situated. Like for example, the one in Kaduna, they are going to source labor from those people in Kaduna. So they are not going to be employing people, except on rare cases, they will be transferring some technical staff from one location to another, but they are going to be sourced internally. They are going to be sourced internally. So that is about labor. So the marketing director oversees the sales and marketing activities of the company. Salesforce and depot managers are controlled by the national sales manager based in Ikeja. Sales promotion and advertisements activities are directed in the head office, from the office of the marketing director. There are 2 brand managers who manage all marketing activities of the 2 products, diapers and sanitary pads. So competition in the industry. It is very high in the industry, with 4 major companies that control 60% of the market share. These companies are Defcon, which with 25% market share, Jameson with 15%, Denton with 12%, and Limson with 8%. Apart from these 4 companies, we have 20 other companies that controls the balance 40% of share of the market. So we have the management board, we have the board of directors, and the management. So Exhibit 5 is talking about the response to environmental and sustainability concerns. Because of global issues, the current global concern for environmental and sustainability issues in production has made the board to approve that management evolve strategies to embrace green production. Therefore, the management plans to introduce new products that will significantly reduce the adverse environmental impacts of its products, while at the same time provide effective and affordable products to its customers. The following sustainable production methods for sanitary pads and diapers that focuses on reducing the adverse environmental impact while maintaining product effectiveness are being considered. So what they are saying here is that because of the high push for sustainability and environmental concerns. So the company is pushing to go into some of these products in order to maintain effectiveness. One is biodegradable materials. The use of biodegradable materials and compostable materials, such as banana and bamboo fibers, to produce sanitary pads and dry pads. These materials decompose naturally and reduce plastic waste. So what they are saying here is that they are trying to make use of products, materials, components that by on themselves, they decompose. There is no need for efforts or much efforts to be used before they are decomposed, before they turn to waste. Number two is organic cotton. Organic cotton grown without synthetic pesticides and fertilizers to help reduce adverse environmental impacts. Reusable pads. Reusable cloth pads made from absorbent cotton materials can be washed and reused multiple times to significantly reduce waste. Design and durability. These pads are designed for durability and comfort by incorporating multiple layers for better absorbency. So then, eco-friendly manufacturing process. So they are trying to adopt two things. They are trying to adopt some environmental friendly materials and also adopt eco-friendly manufacturing processes that will ensure energy efficiency and also conserve water or conserve water. Is going to reduce the use of water, introduce techniques to minimize water usage during production. Unlike before, where the usage of water is not a concern. But now, in the era we have now, everything has to be rationalized. We even come across maybe some countries whereby they have to import water from one country to another. So all the natural resources that we have to be used conservatively. And that is why there is a serious push regarding eco-friendly green usage, sustainability, and every aspect of life is pushing towards that. Accounting, finance, engineering, technology is pushing towards sustainability initiative. So sustainable packaging, introduce the compostable method of packaging to reduce waste and support the various sustainability goals of the company. Okay. So that's about the exhibits in the Preseen. So let's move to the unseen. So you guys have the Preseen, right? So you are going to have the unseen. I'm going to send across to you so that you can all have it. So someone is saying you can't hear me. Let me confirm whether you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Please
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Loudly, very clear.
Yes, sir.
Very clear.
Okay, we should
Okay.
fire down, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. In the unseen, we have introduced more exhibits. And please note that this is just for party's sake. So it's not to say maybe that's what you are expecting in examination on. So it's just for us to prepare something that we'll be able to practice with, complete the Preseen, because in fact this particular Preseen is one of the scantiest I've come across, ever since ICAN started this particular method, there is no financial statement. So, and it is not surprising, because for the past 2 decades, even the financial statement have been issuing in the Preseen they have been rendering it useless. So it's still not an issue. So let's see, let's work. All I know is that whether they give us a more informative Preseen or a less informative Preseen, the most important thing is that we are going to pass. That's what is important to us. So let's just move on. So we have 6 we have how many exhibits? Yes, 7. Added to 5 exhibits we had initially. Exhibit 6, exhibit 7, exhibit 8, exhibit 9, exhibits 10, 11, and 12. Each of these exhibits are now they have their own separate information. So for exhibit 6, let's take them one after another. Email from Tarfa Gambari. Yes, sir. Recall that in response to the global concerns for environmental and sustainability issues in production. Okay, Tarfa Gambari is your boss. So Tarfa Gambari is, I'm going to change that, yes, sir, to your own name. Set from Tarfa Gambari, who is your director, to Matthew Idemudia, which is you. Date 10th of May 2025. Subjects: performance and strategic plans. Dear Matthew, I'm going to change that, sir. Recall that in response to the global concerns for environmental and sustainability issues in production, the board has approved that management evolve strategies to embrace green production. To this end, management has developed a strategic plan to introduce new affordable products that will significantly reduce the adverse impacts of our products on the environment. The plan is centered around the use of biodegradable materials, energy efficiency, and water conservation, especially in the view of recent introduction of new sustainability standards, IFRS S1 and IFRS S2 by the International Standard Setting Board. The board is scheduled to meet in the next 2 weeks and is expected to consider and approve the proposed production plan after considering our performance in the last 3 years in comparison to the performance of our three of our major competitors. Therefore, management has mandated us to carry out the evaluation of our performance in the last 2 years and compare with the equivalent results of our 3 major competitors. We are also required to evaluate a proposal for the introduction of biodegradable and reusable sanitary pads and their pads, and report to the board on whether the proposal is viable and whether it will help us address environmental concerns associated with traditional disposable products and provide sustainable, cost-effective alternatives for consumers. I attach here with the following documents to guide your work. Exhibit 7 to 12. Please, drafts for my review a report addressed to the board of Decon Manufacturing Limited. The report should comprise 1, an evaluation of our performance from 2022 to 2024 based on the company's performance scorecard in Exhibit 11. We are still going to take a look at each of those exhibits and compare the results with equivalence figures from 3 of our major competitors. You are also expected to carry out a business analysis of our operating environment in order to identify the factors that are likely to shape the socio-economic landscape and macroeconomic performance of the sanitary pads and their pads industry in Nigeria using suitable models. Okay, before we move on to Exhibit 2, this is Exhibit 6. And let me tell you that this is the most important exhibit that you will come across in your unseen. By the time you just get your question paper, the first thing you should look towards or you should look at is your first exhibit in the unseen, which is exhibit 6. Why is it that? Why is that? Is because that is the exhibit that will have your requirements. So you are going to be having 2 requirements, and sometimes it may be more than 2. It depends on how your examiner wants to break it. And your requirements will appear under the first exhibit in the unseen, which is exhibit 6. And assuming it is examination hall, and this is the unseen examiner is going to give you in the exam, this is your requirement. So this is very, very important. This is very, very important. Hi.
Please, some people are requesting you to drop this document in the group because they can barely see what you are projecting.
Okay, I'm coming.
Okay, sir.
Is this not clear enough? Maybe I should zoom it. Let me look at the chat box.
Probably some of them are using their phone.
Yeah, so if you are using your phone, please do this. Just zoom it, zoom your screen so that you can see it. But I will also zoom out this as well so that you can all see it. I believe it should be bold by now. There's a challenge in sharing it, so I don't know. When I finalize it, I wanted to share, so it's not sharing. I share to WhatsApp, it's not going. It's not attaching. So I believe we should be fine. At least it's zoomed out now, better. Please confirm if you are fine with it. And if you are using your phone, please zoom out your phone so that you can see it. It will expand. Or use your phone to landscape. That's enough. So if you are using laptop, I don't think you should have it. You should be able to see it clearly. Okay, that's it. So I will save that. So we have taken a look at first requirements. The second requirement is saying an evaluation of the proposal for the introduction of biodegradable and sanitary pads. And that part, the evaluation should highlight how the new products will assist our company in addressing the environmental and sustainability concerns that have been expressed by various stakeholders and comply with the newly introduced sustainability standards. I look forward to reading your graphic report. So these are your requirements. Requirement 1 and requirement 2. So by the time you identify your requirements, what should you do next? What should you do next is to go to your answer booklets and set up your cover page. So let's look at that. These are our requirements. Requirement 1 is saying that you should evaluate the performance of the company. And requirement 2 is saying that, and under that requirement 1, you are also expected to use any of the models that is suitable to analyze the business environment of your company. However, your examiner may come up with a different approach. Maybe your examiner may give you a suitable model. So if your examiner does not give you a suitable model, and your examiner says you should do a business analysis, you can use a model that suits you. But mind you, if your examiner does not make any mention of business analysis here, if your examiner does not make any mention of business analysis, then do not bother to use any model or say you are doing any business analysis. Please work with the requirements. Please and please. I am reinstating this. I am emphasizing it. Work with the requirements. It's very, very important. Work with the requirement is very, very important. So please and please. Your requirement is very, very important. That's what you should work with. So we still come back to taking a look at the solution and how we are going to start. What you should do next, your cover page, your executive summary, how you should leave some pages. We've gone through all that initially. Then your introduction, what you should have there. Then the body, how you should start. First requirement, the second requirement, we're going to have a look at that. But let's run through the remaining exhibits you are provided in the unseen. Exhibit 7, since your examiner did not provide any financial information, so we have used exhibit 7 to provide a summary of financial statements between 2022 to 2024, and you have this. Then exhibit 8 is talking about an online article addressing the impact of sanitary pad and diapers on our environment. Let's have a look at this. It's very important. Beyond numbers, let's look at how does sanitary pads and diapers that babies use affect our environment. Sanitary pads and diapers cause a number of negative effects on our ecosystem, some of which are outlined below. Their life cycle pollutes water bodies and landfills, leading to microplastics and other environmental and health hazards. That is number one issue that we have. Excuse me. Number 2 is the increasing demand for sanitary pads and diapers in low and middle income countries, exacerbated by urbanization and high birth rates, present challenges in waste management. So what they are saying here is that countries that are middle class, because of the high demand for sanitary pads caused by high birth rates, it's actually present challenges in managing waste, because most of these diapers, as we have also highlighted from the Preseen, are not reusable. So you have to dispose them. They are disposable, and waste has to be managed properly. Number 3, as we become more aware of environmental crisis we face, it's important to consider the impact of our everyday choices, like the type of feminine and children hygiene products we use have on the planet. So we do not only consider the present, we also have to consider the future and the generation upon generation to come. What effect does the products we use today have on the generation to come? In this article, we explore the various environmental impacts of disposable, feminine, and children hygiene products, and discuss more sustainable alternatives. What are the impacts? What are the impacts? According to statistics, sanitary pads and diapers made with plastic-based materials can take about 500 to 800 years to break down in landfills. And to further compound issues, some have plastic applicators that makes it even more difficult to decompose. Anything that has to do with plastic, nylons, and the likes, you can see it takes about 500 to 800 years to break down in landfills before they decompose. Experts estimate that the average lifetime use of disposable pads for one woman generates more than 20,000 tons of waste, while that of a child average 8,000 tons. This impact on sanitary products is found in our oceans and marines, with an estimated of over 20 billion pads, diapers, and tampons being dumped into landfills yearly. Furthermore, while it sits in landfills and attempts to break down for such lengths of years, the decomposition process of these products release microplastics that pollute the oceans and marine environments. Flushing sanitary pads and diapers directly into the toilet may pose even more detrimental, because they end up in the drainage systems that ultimately discharge into the sea, causing a significant threat to marine life. Their life cycle pollutes water bodies and landfills, leading to microplastics and other environmental and health hazards. Increasing demand for sanitary pads, diapers in low and middle income countries, exacerbated by urbanization and high birth rates, present challenges for waste management. In addition, since the composition of these products makes it impossible to be recycled, their disposal often involves incineration, which releases toxic substance. So they burn them. And burning them increases, it releases toxic substance into the air, contributing in ozone depletion. What I'm saying here is that these products, it causes both sea pollution, air pollution, and even land pollution in our environment. So from every angle of our planet, our environment, this has to be managed properly because it pollutes every aspect, both the land, the water, and even the air, saying that we want to burn them instead of burying them on the ground because they would not decompose on time. Sometimes they find their way into the sea and they affect the marine life there. Sometimes we burn them and the toxic substances that is being burnt goes to the air and affects our ozone layer. This alarming discovery highlights the urgent need for menstrual products manufacturers to adopt more sustainable and environmental friendly practices. Okay. As such, environmentally friendly alternatives such as reusable pads, menstrual cups are becoming more popular. Also popular is the biodegradable diapers for children made from natural raw material. So that's about exhibit 8. Exhibit 9 is talking about introducing a biodegradable and reusable sanitary pads and diapers. So what this is talking about is what your own company, which is Decon Manufacturing Companies, have proposed. You can see, let's take a look at the executive summary of this exhibit. This proposal outlines the plan for the production and introduction of biodegradable sanitary pads and diapers, as well as reusable sanitary pads under the brand name Eco Comfort. The initiative aims to address environmental concerns associated with traditional disposable products and provide sustainable, cost-effective alternatives for consumers. What is the introduction? What they are trying to do is to introduce that one that will be more eco-friendly and it's going to reduce the use of waste annually. Eco Comfort aims to reduce this impact by offering biodegradable and reusable options that are both eco-friendly and economically viable. Market analysis. The demand for sustainable products is on the rise, driven by increased environmental awareness and government policy. So government is bringing out policies in order to control the use of disposable products. So because of that, companies are now coming for eco-friendly products, and also consumers also demand for more sustainable products. In Nigeria, the market for sanitary products is substantial with a growing population and high birth rates. We give birth in this country. This presents, and that is also an opportunity for companies because our number is growing. Our population is ever growing. So this presents a significant opportunity for Eco Comfort to capture a share of the market by offering innovative, sustainable products. Product description. Biodegradable sanitary pads and diapers. Aside from the fact that, okay, this is for examination purpose, it is also a learning arena for you guys because we have presented this on scene based on research and knowledge based so that we can all know better, right? Made from natural biodegradable materials such as bamboo fiber, organic cotton, and biodegradable polymers. Designed to decompose within a few months, free from harmful chemicals and safe for sensitive skin. Reusable pads made from high quality absorbent fabrics that can be washed and reused multiple times. designed for comfort and durability with a lifespan of several years, available in various sizes. Production plan. Raw materials, sourcing biodegradable materials from certified suppliers, utilizing local materials where possible to support the Nigerian economy. Manufacturing process will be fine. Packaging is to use eco-friendly packaging materials, because one thing is those materials we use. Another thing is the packages, is the packaging material that we are using. If you are saying we should reduce the use of the materials that are not eco-friendly, how about the packaging materials as well? Are they not going to be polymers that will be difficult to decompose? So we also have to look at that area. The marketing and sales strategy. How do we sell them in the markets? It will be sold because parents are seeking safe and sustainable products for their children. Women look for more cost-effective and eco-friendly menstrual products. Marketing channels. How do we sell them? Via social media campaigns to raise awareness about environmental benefits of eco comfort products. Partnership with retailers and via educational programs. So sustainability and impacts. What is the environmental impact? It's going to reduce the use of plastic waste, and it's going to promote sustainable living practices among consumers. Social impact. It will create jobs in the local community. It will improve access to affordable and sustainable sanitary. That's about Exhibit 9. Exhibit 9 is just telling us what your company, Decon, is trying to introduce. Exhibit 10 is talking about the financial proposal for establishing an energy efficient sanitary napkins and diapers production plan. So your company wants to establish a plant that will be more eco-friendly. And these are the overview of that plant. So this is a project. It is a long-term project. So this is an investment that we have to appraise. This is where your knowledge in investment appraiser or project appraiser is going to be used. Product lines, sanitary napkins and diapers, production capacity. We are going to be having a production capacity of 400 pieces per minute, 250 pieces per minute for diapers. Operational capacity, it will be operating at 70%, working hours, 8 hours per day, 320 days per annum, using the market analysis. Market analysis demand, high demand for sanitary napkins due to increasing awareness. Growth rates. The global diaper market is projected as 8.01% between 2022 and 2027. I think this was looked at in Exhibit 3. We read it. However, your own company have actually projected that demand for the eco comfort product that we are going to be using, we are going to be producing, will increase by 10% from year 1 to 3, while from year 4 to 6 is projected to increase by 12%. Local markets, capital investments. We have land and building, machinery and equipment. We have installation and commissioning. We have pre-operating expenses. We have working capital. Then raw materials, operating costs. These are per annum. Raw materials, labor costs, utilities, maintenance, and other operating expenses. So this will be incurred per annum. Then about pricing. So after you produce, you are going to sell. How much do you sell? So you sell for sanitary napkins, 100 naira per piece, and then for diapers, we have 300 per piece. So financial and funding, how do we fund this project? 11% over an estimated period of 6 years. That's our percentage. That's our return on investment that we're going to make use of in appraising this investment. Combination of equity investments, bank loans, 7% internal rates of return, and government grants for green initiatives. So we have exchange rates of 1,550 naira to $1. Inflation rate on raw materials and operating expenses pegged as 15% for the first 3 years, while the last 3 years will experience inflation at 12%. Selling price will be increased by a percentage points above the inflation rate bar. So that's about exhibit 10. Exhibit 11 is talking about performance scorecards. So this is what we assume using this unseen. You know it's unseen. The examiner may come up with something different, right? But this will guide you. So performance scorecard is just talking about what are the metrics that your company is using to measure its own performance. So we have revenue growth, we have customer acquisition costs, gross profit margin, net profit margin, inventory turnover, number of customers, assets turnover, gearing, receivable days, payable days, return on equity, quick ratio, debt equity. Mind you, you may not have to do up to this in examination hall. We are just preparing this for this class, for the sake of this class. We are just preparing this for the sake of this class. Right? You may not have to prepare up to this or use up to this in the examination hall. So let me attend to some persons are just trying to join the class, maybe because they were late. And then the fact that this class is limited is because people that subscribed initially, our budget was 500, so we never knew that some persons will be rushing. And except we postpone this class for me to do another subscription that will accommodate more than up to 1,000 naira. So, and time is not on our side, so that's why we have to just move on with this. So let me address those people that are not able to join, that they should not bother, or they should be trying. Recording made available. Okay, let's continue. Sorry, let me quickly address them so that they don't feel left alone. Okay. Okay. So that's about the performance scorecard. So what we are saying here is that your examiner assumption, we are assuming, the examiner wants you to use these metrics to evaluate your company's financial performance. So let's move to exhibit 12. Exhibit 12 is talking about the competitors' key indicators. So you have three major competitors, Jameson, Denton, and Limson, and these are their key indicators, how they performed in the last 3 years that you're also considering. So you have to now compare this with your own and analyze to see where you fit in the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, we have run through both the preseen and the unseen, and you now have your expectation in the examination hall. It's before I move to start answering our question, let me accommodate two questions. Before we start to look at the solution, and before we start to address where we are going to start from, I'm going to accommodate two questions from us. I'm going to accommodate two questions from us. Can you hear me? Please confirm if you can hear me. You can use the chat box. Let me see. Let me know that you can hear me. Okay, you can also use the emoji. Just let me have the feeling that you can hear me. Okay. Okay, so Abasiama, right? Abasiama, you raise your hand. I don't want to unmute everyone because the challenge now is that if you unmute everyone, people will just unmute themselves now and the class will now. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so for those people that raised their hand, if you can ask your question now. And Evelyn Opali, please unmute yourself and ask question. Then after that, Eli Leon or something, ask your question. Oh yeah, just two questions to accommodate. I'm going to share screen. Don't worry, I stopped it. I have someone, Evelyn. You should be able to unmute yourself. What's going on? Okay, since that one, maybe she can't unmute. Ayala Stephen, ask your question.
Yeah, good evening, boss. Thank you for this class and privilege.
We've not started the solution. Everybody, please note, we've not started solution. We just add the because your this thing starts your success in every exam starts from understanding what you have to. So, oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. I was partially following because I was driving a very long distance coming to Lagos from outside Lagos. So I want to ask, like most of us are first timers. I've been able to see Preseen. Like the other one you added to it now is the unseen.
Yes.
Which we are expecting that very day of a case study. Is it the same thing we are going to see that very day, or this just for the sake of
This just for, if you can, maybe I just share the screen again. But it's just for knowledge sake. We are just doing this for parties. It's not the same way.
okay, okay, okay,
It
okay.
will definitely be different. We are just using this for parties. And that's why I was emphasizing on the requirements. Please, once you get your question paper,
Mm,
open to Exhibit 6 and identify your requirements.
okay,
So
okay,
once you identify the requirement, it will lead you. You understand what to do. The suggested unseen, I will send it to the group. Just wait.
okay,
I was having issues in sending it. Don't worry. It's part of what you are going to get with the suggested solution.
okay, okay, okay. Thanks.
And one about it, Tommy. Yes, sir. Please ask your question. Unmute and ask your question. If you have any question, please. If not, you may just put down your hand. Amolola Adeyemo, unmute and ask your question. So I think these people do not have questions.
I don't have question. Sorry.
Okay. You don't have question, Abi? I said it. The class is flowing. People are understanding this. Yeah, Mr. Clements. Do you have a question, or that hand raising was a mistake? Okay, I can see some questions in the chat box. Let me address them. I think.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
The question, the requirement too. How do you, because I'm on the road, I'm away to Lagos for OAU. I want to know how you approve that requirement, how you can solve the requirement too. Maybe now with the SFM.
Okay, so the question is about requirement 2. How do we go about it? So, the questioner, you can also type it. I'm going to pick it better. Your background is a very big noise there. So what we will do is that we can attempt all the questions here. So to save our time, because even the solution, your suggested solution, I have not finalized it. Right? So I'm just going to run through it as a framework. So it is after the class I'm going to finalize it, right? And then you guys will now have it, both the unseen suggested, the suggested solution, and you will now practice with it. So we are going to save our time. This class is scheduled for 3 hours or less, right? And we have used 1 hour, 30 minutes. So we have to save our time. So let's move to the solution. What do we have? How do we start? Let's move to that. Coming, I'm going to share my screen. So just confirm once you can see my screen. Can you see it? Can you see my screen? My beautiful screen. Very, very beautiful. Can you see it? Yeah, just use the chat box. Let me confirm that you can see my screen. Yes, Akinas Karim is saying yes. Ola Ole is saying yes. So you guys can see my screen. Let me bold in it so that you can all see very clear. Okay, because it's an internal report, right? We are not having anything to do with your letterhead. There's no point. So it will come in form of a memo like this. you can see when your boss was asking you to draft a report, he said you should address it to the board of directors. The board of directors, DEFCON Manufacturing Limited. What is your subject? Your subject will be coined out from your requirements, from both requirements. Look at my own subjects, and you may use this, you may use your own. There is no best subjects, right? Title, just form it from your requirements. And that is why we said the moment you get your question paper, the first thing you should identify is your exhibit 6. That is where your requirements are. Once you identify your requirements, go to page 1. This is page 1, which is your cover page, and write this. This is simple and it's a bonus. Page 1, put your cover page. So the board of directors, an evaluation of financial performance, appraisal of strategic business proposals, and analysis of operating and business environment of DEFCON Manufacturing Limited. It's as simple as that. From the finance and accounts departments, you are drafting this report for your boss. Your boss is heading a department. So I believe that it is better to say this report is prepared by that department instead of mentioning one person. Then your dates. Then you can just write this report is for internal use only. If you do not write it, it's fine. So there's no disclaimer here. It's just to say the report is for internal use only. Then it's fine. That is your cover page. It's as simple as this. The cover page is as simple as this. Okay. From the cover page, we now move to the executive summary. Mind you, your executive summary, you do not know what will be there yet. Right? You do not know what will be in your executive summary. And that is why we used to say, set aside 2 pages, page 2 and page 3, for your executive summary, so that by the time you are able to finalize your report, you can come back to those 2 pages and write. So leave page 2 and 3 for your executive summary. You're coming back to it. And let's come to introduction. So mind you, what we have done now is that our answer framework, let me be putting it down here. Answer framework. This is the framework that will work for you. Can you see my screen? So the answer framework is that you get your answer booklets and your question paper. First thing, identify requirements 6. That's where your requirements are. Once you know your requirements, go to the cover page and do what? And set up your cover page to subjects from or prepared by, as the case may be, then dates. That is all. Once you do that on your cover page, the whole of your first page is for cover page. Don't write any other thing. Leave page 2 and page 3 for your executive summary and jump to page 4 for your introduction. This is our introduction. Let's read this introduction. Sequel to the email received from the managing director, the management has assigned to us assessment of our financial performance in the last 3 years in comparison to the performance of three of our major competitors using the performance scorecard. What if the examiner did not make any mention of performance scorecard? What are you going to use? Just say using relevant tools. There's no point. Just say using relevant tools. And if you are starting of the tools you are going to make use of, maybe it's ratios or trends, make mention of those tools. It's as simple as that. We are also required to evaluate the proposal for the introduction of biodegradable and reusable sanitary pads and other pads, and go to the board on whether the proposal is viable and whether it will help us address environmental concerns. Environmental concern is a serious issue, most especially in this state that we are. Just a single fine can put the company in a shake the company seriously. So it is a concern that has to be addressed. Associated with traditional disposable products and provide sustainable, cost-effective alternative to consumers. We also require to evaluate our operating and business environment using relevant models like SWOT and test them. Please note that this last part, it is only subject to your requirement. If your examiner requires that you should use it or you should do business analysis using any model, please use it. That's number one. Number two is that if your examiner make mention of a specific model, use the model. If your examiner does specify, because you are asked to use or to do business analysis, you can use anyone suitable, whether SWOT or STEM. But if your examiner does not ask you to use or to do business analysis, please do not bother. There's no point. The fact that you have some information that are useful for these students does not mean you have to do it. You are working based on your words, on your requirements. It's very important. I repeat, you are working, you are answering, you are analyzing this case based on requirements. It's very important. Okay, this last part here, is it necessary? Yes, it is. And that's why I'm just bringing some small few information. Because there's no point. You are writing this report internally to the people that know about your company. But it is not also bad to remind them of where we are. You can say, our company, Defcon Manufacturing Limited, is a Nigerian manufacturer of diapers and sanitary. It operates in a competitive market and currently holds a 25% share, making it the market leader among the 4 major players. We offer 4 tiers of product across both diapers and sanitary pads. The luxury, which is in premium quality, the super, which is a medium high range, the simple, which is basic functionality, and the economy, which is for budget friendly. We have thoroughly examined the attached exhibits and documents provided, carried out a depth analysis on the subject matter under appropriate headings and subheadings, arrived at necessary conclusions, and subsequently provided recommendations for the decision of the board. How simple, straightforward, direct your introduction is. There's no story. As the name implies, introduction. Just introduce to us, tell us what you want to do. And that's what we have done here. So you see now, you set up a framework for yourself. Once you get your answer booklet and your question paper, go to Exhibit 6 and identify your requirements and set up your cover page. After the cover page, do introduction. Leave page 2 and 3 and move to page 4 for introduction. And this is your introduction. This is very, very simple. All you need for introduction is what? Your requirements, the tools you are going to use. Someone is making noise here. He said I've not muted people. So I'm coming. Someone is making noise. Okay, let's continue. So you can see how simple introduction is, right? So we have 2 things now, simply. Executive, cover page and introduction. Executive summary, we know that you cannot summarize what you have not done. It is a concluded work that you are summarizing. So you will come back to it. That's why you are leaving some pages aside. So now let's move to requirements 1, which is the body of the report. Another question you may now ask me is that you're having 2 requirements. Let's say sometimes it might be 3. It depends on how your examiner wants to do it, right? So the first requirement is talking about assessing financial performance. And this is where your knowledge of ratios and trends will be useful. What have we done here? Let me go to because I've actually started putting in together some appendices for you guys. For trends, we have, let me see what my screen is displaying. Okay, I think I have to stop sharing and I will share. So I want to share some of the calculations I've done for trend analysis so that we look at this together. And then we'll be able to move our screen between the questions and the answers. So once you are able to see my screen, please let me know. I'm sharing now, so you'll be able to see it. I think I should just share. That's it for me. Hi guys, sorry, I had while I was trying to close some files. I close the browser. So let me share my screen again. Confirm that you can see my screen. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we are taking a look at the appendices now. And in a way, to save our time, I've just done it this way to say if you are calculating trends, let's assume that and he wants to do a combination of trend and ratios, as the case may be. This is how it's going to be. So your trend will be the new number minus the old number divided by old. So what we are doing here is that let's go to the question. Exhibit 7. Revenue for 2022, we have 27.6 billion. For 2023, we have 34.8 billion, or 0.8 million rather. It is clear that the revenue has increased, right? But you want to determine it in percentage. How do you do that? This is how you do it. You can see we say 2023 versus 2022. So what it means is that the new one, which is that of 2023, will come first, minus the old one. Then you divide this by the old one. Then you multiply it by 100. And that gives us an increment of 26.2%. We do the same thing for 2024 versus 2023. 2024 amount is 36 million. And 2023 is 34 million. So 36 minus 34 by my own calculator here. Let me use my calculator. 36 minus 34. Where is my calculator? Okay, leave it. We use the also calculator. I just want to display so that you can all see it, where the numbers are coming from. You can also pick your calculator and verify. Right? So we have 36. Minus 34. So it's giving us 1995.45. Then divided by 34. Multiply by 100. Let me see. And that's how we got this 5.7% increment, approximately 5.7% increment. So that's how we did for all the numbers. Revenue, we have gross profits, we have operating profits, we have profit before tax. You can see new minus old divided by old. Write it down so that you won't confuse. New minus old divided by old, multiply by 100. And it will give you the percentage. You would know from the one up, from the numerator, whether it is increasing or decreasing. For example, now, this one now, we all know that the profit has decreased here. Why? Because what we have before is 8 million. Now we're having 1 million. So it's going to give you minus. So anything that gives you minus is a decrement. That's what it means. So then we have the one for operating expenses, finance costs, finance income, other operating income. So with this now, we calculate some financial information. What do? Let's go back to our solution and make sense of them in our reports. Because all those numbers, they do not really have meaning. They have meaning by presenting them in the body of the reports. And that's what we have done here. You can see revenue. Revenue has grown consistently over the 3 years, but the rate of growth slowed significantly in 2024, which is evident. If you go back to what we have, the number we have, imagine the increment we have between 2022 and 2023 is 26%. Now imagine the percentage we have in 2023 and 2024. It is very small. Fine, there is increments, it increased, but that rate of increment has slowed down significantly. And that's what we are saying here. Revenue has grown consistently over the years, but the rate of growth slowed significantly in 2024. This may signal either market saturation, maybe because a whole lot of people are in the market now that are selling cheap products, or increased competition because there is huge competition, there is stiff competition in the market, or constraint in production or distribution. So that's slow growth rates in 2024 could be as a result of anything. So we are just assuming what will cause it, right? Based on the information we have. And because in real life, we would know some of those things that impact our sales. What is a top line? So it is very, very important that we would understand what has actually reduced the growth rate in 2024 and why we are having that significant huge in increments. So cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold, if you look at the appendix that we have here, let me see. Where is cost of, okay, this is cost of goods sold. Appendix 1F. So cost of goods sold has increased significantly in 2024. 2023, the increment between 2022 and 2023 is very, very minimal. But in 2024, that increment is very huge, from 15 million to 28 million. And that is what we have also noted here, that while costs were stable between 2022 and 2023, there was a massive increase in 2024. This likely reflects rising cost of imported materials, since 70% is imported. Foreign exchange issues in Nigeria may also have impacted the increase in cost of sales, because you have to look for FS, you have to open LCs. So all those things can also affect the cost of goods sold for it to have increased significantly with that percentage. And you can also include the percentage here. Also include the percentage. Yes, so I'm going to include them by the time I change, by the time I'm going to finalize this report. This surge in cost severely skews the margin. So what we are trying to say here is that because there is high cost of sales, it is going to affect operating gross profit margin. Our gross profit is going to reduce significantly and going to affect operating profits. So what we are trying to do here is to give you that guide and how you are going to be presenting them in the body of your report, because it's very, very important. It's not just to go and do the calculation and sleep on it. You have to make sure that you are presenting this in your body of the report. It's very, very important. And mind you, you can see the moment you do first one like this one, revenue, Come to the body of your report and report on it. Do not wait. Number 2, cost of sales. The moment you do cost of sales, come to the body of report and report on it. Don't wait till you finish all the calculation before you start reporting on them. That's first thing. That's the first thing to note. You can be putting it down. This has to do with trend, right? As you are calculating for each item, be reporting on them. That's number 1. Number 2 is that do not bother in doing trend analysis for statement of financial position item. It's not necessary. Only do your trend for income statement item. This alone. Don't bother doing trend for statement of financial position item. It will waste your time. And you do not have the luxury of time to be doing that. And sometimes it's not even necessary because you will still do some few ratio analysis. You can see appendix 2 ratio. You will do gross margin, gross profit over revenue multiplied by 100. That's what we have done here. So you will still use ratio. So there's no point in wasting time and doing all the 10 for all the numbers. There's no point. So now, analysis based on financial ratios. We have used gross profit margin, net profit margin in percentage, based on the performance scorecard that we have in exhibit, I think 11 or so. We have done asset turnover. All the calculation are in the appendices. But the most important thing is not to just calculate, it's how to now report. So let's go and look at one of the ratios that are calculated, gross profit margin. (21.4%). Let me see, is this complete? I think it is not complete. It's supposed to be for how many years? It's supposed to be for 3 years. So I have 21. Then what is that of 56? 56. So it's 6.19. Okay, so I'm going to finalize it. Okay. So I know where the issue is. So what we are saying in essence is that gross profit margin over gross profit margin is equals gross profits divided by sales multiplied by 100. So this is for see, let me check. This is for 2024. So we are going to do the same for 2023. And also do same for 2022. 2023 and 2022. So after the class, I'm going to finalize it. We are just giving you how you have to go about this. Gross profit margin. And this one will be 19 divided by 34. It's as simple as that. Then you multiply it by 100. Then you should be having 56%. Okay. So that's how we are going to do for all the ratios. But mind you, do you have to do all the ratios? You do not have to. And that's why I was showing you the other time, based on the unseen, your examiner, assuming your examiner is asking you or is actually adopting this our own unseen, hopefully, this is only the number of ratios that you have to do. It's not much. Gross profit margin, net profit margin, inventory turnover, leave this number of new customers. They've already given you asset turnover, gearing, receivable days, payable days, return on equity, quick ratio, and debt. If your examiner does not specify, just limit it to maybe 6 maximum. The most important thing is for you to analyze, not in calculating the ratios. There's no time for all that. There's no time for all that. So let's see the analysis of ratios as against that of trend. The result shows 44.7%, 56.09, and 21.4% in 2021, 2023, and 2024 respectively. The margin peaked in 2023, indicating strong production efficiency and pricing strategy. However, the sharp drop in 2024, it dropped to 21%. Suggests a significant increase in production cost or reduction in selling price. We mentioned it. Fine, they had higher sales, but the cost of sales was very high in 2024, and it has also affected the gross profits. And that is why, if you take a look at the line, you will realize that gross profit in 2022 is 12 million, in 2023 is 19 million, but it dropped significantly to 7 million in 2024. So that is what we are analyzing. So it's as simple as that. So you are just analyzing the numbers with the way they are moving. And it makes it very, very simple and very easy to go by the time you write. So after this class, you are going to get this suggested solution with the appendices. You are not expected to look at it. You are expected to take your Bible and write it, both the reports and the appendices from A to Z. They're very important. And also understand how we are analyzing. All these ratios we analyze. So you are not expected to say, okay, I want to do all the ratios. No, time may not permit you, but at least you know what to do. That is important. At least you know what to do, which is very, very important. Okay. So we are still going to take a look at, because there's a place where we have to analyze. Let me go back to the unseen. There's a place where we have to analyze the competitors. How are you performing based on, we are going to compare your own performance with that of 3 important or 3 major competitors as well. So by the time I'm done with this solution, we are going to have that. Then based on the body, we are going to conclude and we are going to recommend. So let's assume that after this recommendation from here, you are done with requirement 1. What are you supposed to do before you move to requirement 2? What are you supposed to do? I want someone to ask me, what are you supposed to do? After you finish requirement 1, the body, what you're supposed to do, is it to move to requirement 2 or move to executive summary? The answer is to move to executive summary. What you have to do is to go back to executive summary and summarize what you have done in requirement 1 before you move to requirement 2. You are being very strategic and managing your time effectively. Come to executive summary and summarize what you have done in requirement 1 while leaving some few lines for that of requirement 2, should in case you are able to read it, if time permits. Right? So now let's go to executive summary, because you are doing requirement 1. What if time might not permit you to finish requirement 2 and you are rushing and you are not able to now do executive summary? Executive summary is very, very important. You have to do it. Come to executive summary, this one is the summary of your introduction. There's no point. It's not very, very simple. You can see that it has the same starting as if you are starting an introduction. What is introduction? This introduction. However, this one, executive summary, is referring to the reports. You can see this report. You are summarizing the report. This report, let's read it. This report provides a detailed assessment of financial performance of Defcon Manufacturing Limited for the last 3 financial years ending 2024. It also provides an evaluation of the adoption of sustainability projects, introduction of biodegradable and reusable sanitary pads and diapers, establishing energy efficient sanitary pad and diapers production plan, taking into consideration broader economic risk and other environmental issues, which requires attention. Tools of analysis used include selected financial ratios, trend of financial numbers, investment appraisal technique, SWOT, and PESTEL framework. All calculations and diagrams are there in the attached appendices. It's as simple as that. This assumption, please, just cram it and put it there. There is no two way about it. It's not going to change. Then major findings. So major findings is the finding of your requirements one that you've just finished. Just to bring in something here. It's very, very simple. Just to bring in something simple that you have done here. So I'm going to finalize it. You will see how it looks. It's not something that is very, very long. This is executive summary, not the body. This is executive summary. Then after you bring in the body, major findings for requirements one, you can leave this space like this. First line, second line, like 4 lines for the major findings of requirement 2. Hope you are following me. Then, after you leave the 4 lines, come to conclusion and bring in 3 conclusions from the conclusions you have in your requirement 1. Once you do that, leave 3 or 4 lines for the conclusion of requirement 2 and move to recommendation and bring in recommendations for requirement 1 while you leave 3 to 4 lines for recommendation of requirement 2. I'm setting the framework for you. We can't finish all this now, but by the time you know the framework, it will assist you. Then this is intervention and limitation. Just this one is not going to change. It's just a framework. I just master this and put it down. But the major thing that you need are the major findings, the conclusions, and the recommendation. And you can see, because we are done with requirement 1, we are able to write this. But we are not done with requirement 2. Leave the spaces, lines, conclusions. Because we are done with requirement 1, I'm able to bring 3, maximum 3. Because it is summary. Then leave maybe 2 or 3 lines or 4 lines for the conclusion you are going to bring for requirement 2. In case you are able to do it. Then do same for recommendation. This is observation and limitation. Just calm it and put. That is executive summary. So what you have done is that you have managed your time effectively. You have done your cover page. You have done your introduction. You have done requirement 1. And you have also done executive summary on requirement 1. Even after that, the examiner says, 1 hour to go, you are not confused. And still, you know, at least you know that you have done something tangible. Then you can now conveniently go and shoot your shot with requirement 2 and do some few things. Before the examiner will now say 15 minutes to go, and by that 15 minutes, you are still struggling with calculation. No, don't do that. So that's what we are going to do. So now let's move to business analysis. Business analysis. All this one is talking about the introduction of biodegradable and reusable sanitary pads So I've analyzed this based on environmental impacts. Please make sure you read it. Your examiner may go there. And I've concluded and I've recommended on it. Now let's go to appraising the performance of your company using SWOT analysis. What are your strengths? These are your strengths: government policy support, potential for local sourcing of inputs, local manufacturing advantage, transferable technology, if this scalable, improve consumer perception, adaptability. All these are your strengths. Proximity to markets, these are your strengths. Weaknesses: high production costs, high local production capacity, cost of manufacturing. I think this cost of manufacturing and production cost is the same thing. Technology import dependency. You have to depend on imported technology. Limited consumer purchasing power. Brand loyalty towards imports. This is common to we Nigerians. We like things that are imported. And because currently 70%, is it 70? I think there was a certain percentage of number, up to 4 billion number percentage, or in percentage that is imported that we use. So Nigerians have loyalty for imported products. Nigerians, we have that loyalty. So it may also be a weakness for us. As a company, we are going to be able to manage it through some opportunities that government is bringing towards us. So the fact that government, they are trying to actually push people towards using locally made products is an opportunity for your company, for DEFCON manufacturing company. Then we have threats: economic instability, foreign competition, inconsistent supply chain for raw material, health risks from inadequate alternatives, security and infrastructure challenges, and all other threats. So then we have concluded on this. So what if we want to use PESTEL? How do you analyze this? So I've also brought in something for you under each heading: political factors, economic factors, social factors, technological factors, environmental factors, then legal factors. So then we've concluded on it. We've also recommended on it. So these are business analysis if your examiner asks you to use any of the models. However, what if the examiner does not ask you to use any of these two? Maybe the examiner now mentioned Porter's 5 forces. Please go and read it. We are only assuming. We do not know what your examiner will ask. And this one is even based on your requirement. If your examiner does not ask anything about business analysis, please do not bother making use of it. There's no point. There's no point. Because you are not going to get any answer for it if you use it. You are not going to get any answer for it if you use it. This one is still on requirement 1. We've not actually done anything tangible on requirement 2. Requirement 2 may have something to do with a financial data analysis, evaluation of a proposal or project. So this one, we are going to evaluate the projects financially. What are we evaluating? Based on the information provided, I think in exhibit 10, we are given some information. So, but I have not really done so much on that. I'm going to look at it, provide something that will be simple for you to practice in form of investment appraisal or a contract appraisal so that you can practice. So by the time I'm done, you are going to have the full appendices and also the reports, the suggested reports, so that you can practice with. And by then I'll be able to actually fix this my system that is not allowing me to send information. So I'm going to send you the unseen and also the solution, both the appendices and the reports, so that we practice with. So, ladies and gentlemen, we do not have luxury of time. However, let me recap what we have done here today. The first thing is that we have had a look at the unseen and the information we have there. This is the unseen, suggested, and please take note of this note. It is a disclaimer, it's very, very important. And these are the list of exhibits we have. We've had a look at these exhibits, and we have provided some solutions, a suggested solution based on that exhibit. And all you now have to do is to practice. But before that, I think I should mention something regarding, there's a solution I provided here that you have to read regarding this area, introduction of biodegradable and reusable sanitary pads. Is very, very important. Please, you have to, is very, very important. Environmental impact. Positive reduction of waste. Because this one is just talking about, okay, fine, we understand that they may want to introduce some environmental friendly, sustainable products into the market, right? So if they are introducing it, what are other benefits aside from financial benefits? These are, they are going to have possible reduction of waste, eco-friendly production and packaging, promotion of sustainable lifestyle, job creation. It is going to have social and environmental impacts on our society and our community. And also it's going to have a supply chain sustainability. So you conclude based on this. So by the time you get this, I would implore you to make sure you do more practice on it and ask your question, ask the question. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, let me accommodate a few questions so that I can quickly finalize. I can have my time to finalize this material and get that question. To start practicing, someone is asking when you are having the material. You are going to have it on my social media. I'll make sure I finalize it tonight. So some persons might have brought some questions. Let me try and take those questions and address them. How would you know if they want us to use speech analysis? The examiner will ask you. I've mentioned this over and over. If the examiner will ask you in your requirements, please take note of this again. Your requirements is very important. Someone is saying we not discuss requirement 2. I discussed it. What I was saying is that I have not solved that requirement 2 for you. So once I solve it, I'm going to provide a report on it so that you will have it. So since there's no solution for it, there's no point in taking our time to be reading. We've already read it. So someone is asking, can we take more time to discuss requirement 2? There's no point in using more time to discuss requirement 2 when it is certain that requirement 2 is a 50-50 case. You don't even know what your examiner might bring, right? So let's just limit ourselves. It's good as we have used more time on requirement 1. So that even in the examination hall, use more time on the requirement that you know better. It might not be 1, it might be 2, right? It might be 2. Someone is asking where to put ethical issues. I'm going to include it in your solution. You will see where it comes in. Ethical issues. What are the ethical issues? So ethical issues, as the case may be, may go in line with one of the requirements, maybe requirement 1 or requirement 2. And sometimes it is not compulsory to say, okay, where is ethical issue? Where is ethical issue? It might be maybe some regulatory issues that the company is flouting. Like this case now, in this, some environmental concerns are ethical issues that the company may have actually flouted. So we're going to address it. by the time professional skepticism has come in your reports. This is your professional skepticism for those of you that are asking. That skepticism comes under your introduction. No, on your under your executive summary. Let me go there. For those of you that are asking about this is the part that is addressing your professional skepticism, reservation and limitation. So there's no need for you to write professional skepticism as a heading. This is addressing it. You have been skeptical here. But for ethical issue, it has to come in the body of your reports. And it will come in one of the requirements, but mostly requirement 2. But because we've not really done much on requirement 2, I'm going to put the framework there. The way I've done the framework for your executive summary, you can see the framework here for executive summary. So that's what we are going to do for that, so that you can practice. I hope that clarifies, right? So someone is asking which other business model can be asked aside from SWOT and best step. Well, we do not know. We have just used these models based on what we have. So based on what we have, can you help us use different models? Yes, we've used 2. We've used 2. So I may try one more. Maybe you can go through. In case your examiner come up, we cannot use all the models. That's it. It's just for you to understand where the examiner is coming from. Is table of content and numbering compulsory? There's no need for you to number. Your answer booklet is already numbered. You may not have to number. Your answer booklet is already numbered. Table of content. Your examiner does not mention anything regarding table of content in your study pack, so don't bother. Someone is asking, where are we going to talk about wider content in the body of the report under executive summary? No, you are not talking about wider context. What did you mention? In the executive summary is a summary. There's nothing wide here. Don't introduce anything unnecessary in the executive summary. Just keep it simple. The wider concept might have been discussed under, there's no need for you to even say a wider context. On the model, we have analyzed using PESTEL, we have analyzed using SWOT. It's discussing about external affairs, external business environments. So it's fine. Wider context is just giving you the background. It's not necessarily means that you now have to be looking for wider context in the solution. So there's no necessary, it's not necessary. When will the report be ready? I already answered today, you get it. There's no time again, yes, we know. You get the report today. So you can practice. So I already answered the question regarding number. Do not bother to number. Your answer sheet is already numbered. Your appendices, you can see. Let me go back to the appendices. You can see that I numbered them. This is appendix 2 for ratio. This is appendix 1 for SWOT and for trend analysis. So if you are doing any other analysis, and because appendix, this analysis has different and this input A, you can see according to appendix 1A or 1B or 1C, according to appendix 2A or 2B or 2C, that's how you refer methodology. I don't understand which one is methodology. We are not doing projects here. Please leave methodology. Leave it out here. There's nothing like methodology here. Is ethical issue also going to go under executive summary? If yes, where? No. There's no need to introduce ethical issue under executive summary. Ethical issue will come under one of the requirements. I've mentioned it, right? It will relate to one of the requirements. Then it is under that requirement, you now have to bring in the ethical issues. Can you go over the structure again before we round up? I'm going to go to it so that you can all have the standard thing that you are looking for. For the requirement 2, do we need another body of report specifically for it, or to join it with one? We need another heading. Let me go through the solution. This is where requirement 1 starts from, Abi. then this might be a requirement too, we don't know. It depends on what the examiner comes up with, right? We might come here and say, because we don't know what our requirements will be, that's why we are introducing all this. Like I said, an assessment of eco-friendly plants and equipments. And you start your requirement 2 here. So this SWOT or model, SWOT or PESTED that we have done, we don't know under which requirements your examiner is going to put it. So anywhere it puts it, or sometimes my try to introduce a third requirement. Anyhow they do it, just put your heading. That's just the important thing. Make sure everything that you're introducing, make sure they are worded correctly. Put appropriate heading, underline it, and subhead. Headings and subheadings, they're very important. Are all exhibits usually critical? Could there be an exhibit that won't? Yes. It's very, very important. This question is very important. Not all the exhibits are useful. Some information, you may not need them in the exam. How do we apply Potter's diamond? I'm going to see a way before I give you this for Potter's diamond, if that will be asked. Someone is asking whether we are going to sign our report or we end it. Yes. After the second requirement or the third requirement, as the case may be, just come here, sign. After all these ones that you are putting, this one is just story. Just put your signature here. After the recommendations for the second or third requirement, as the case may be, you don't know how many requirements you are going to have. Sign and put your boss name here. And put his designation here. Sign and put your boss name. It's fine. Because your boss, you are just acting under him. So you are drafting for him. So just put his name there. ETC, what part of the reports? It depends on your requirement. Appendices or report itself. No, it will come now. We have analyzed this. Someone is asking where SWOT and PESTEL come in. You analyze using those things in the body of your reports. SWOT, you are only going to include them in your appendix where there is a diagram. PESTEL does not have a diagram, so there's no point. What diagram are you including for PESTEL? Even SWOT, there's no point. What are you issuing? There's no diagram for SWOT. Any diagram they are trying to include, they are just ignore those ones. Just make sure the most important thing is the body of your report, not your appendix, right? Not your appendix. So let me unmute you guys. Some of you guys might have 1 or 2 questions. Then after that, we'll just take the questions. If I
Hello?
If on mute, if I did not call you,
Hello, man.
mute.
Hello, man. Hello?
I repeat.
Hello?
Let me call you.
Please let's use the chat. Let's use the chat, the in-call messages. I think that one is better. Mr. Kabiru, I think let's use the
Yes.
in-chat messages. I think it will be better. Anybody has a question can ask his question through the
Drop
in-call
it,
messages,
Abi.
please.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I think
it's
I have a question, man.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, I have a question, sir.
So this is going to be rowdy because of the number we have. So anybody that asks a question, please can you drop it on the chat box? Let me address them for 5 minutes because we just have to end this class. Let me finalize your reports. People will be disturbing me now for the reports. I have to finish it. Someone is asking that the population is not an economic factor, it's a social factor. Okay, that's noted. We'll shift it. The dates on the cover page, not examination day. Is there a reason for that? It's because someone is asking about the dates. That is not examination date. It is because when your boss is writing to you here, the dates your boss included here is 10th of May, right? We know that this is not the actual question. It's 10th of May. And he said that he expects to receive your drafts in the next few weeks. Why? Because the board is scheduled to hold a meeting in the next 2 weeks. So that's why I just include that date. So, but invariably, that date is not an issue. So you may include any date. You may include the dates of the examination dates. It's fine. Any sign of unsolved goods? I don't know. You can study it on your own. When is our class for analysis of requirements? So there's no class. I'm going to give you the solution. There is no other class. This is all the class that you are going to have. It's not about the class. It's about just to give you the framework, right? It's very, very important. So, and the reason why we are just focusing our time on that requirement 1 is because requirement 1 mostly used to be financial statement analysis. Requirement 2 can either be financial data analysis or maybe business analysis, as the case may be. We do not know. Right? So we do not know. So that's why. So if you finish your requirement 1, do your executive summary on it before you move to requirement 2. It is very, very important. I repeat, it's very, very important. Please. Someone is asking, I already said, it's because you are drafting it for your boss. So include his name. And if you include your name too, it's fine. Your examiner in your study pack, nobody mentioned any name that you are going to include. So after introduction, let me run through the framework, the answer once again. Let me run through it. The answer framework, number 1, page 1 rather. Page 1, cover page. Page 2 to 3, executive summary. Leave it blank at first. Page 4, introduction. Then after your introduction, where it stops. I do not expect you to use the whole of page 4 for introduction, but maybe your writing is big. Let's just say page 5. Requirements 1. Then for that requirements 1, you do the main analysis, conclusion, then recommendation. So after you finish all these 3 for requirement 1, what are you going to do? Go back to your executive summary and summarize what you have done, while leaving spaces for page X. Don't know where that one will be. Then do your requirement 2, if time permits. But make sure you attempt it. Main analysis, conclusion, then recommendation. I hope you can see what I'm writing. Conclusion, then recommendation. Then after that, then closing remarks, then sign your boss name or your name. Anyone. Nobody should come and ask me which one. Your boss name is fine. Any other person can say, put your name, put your name. Those ones are not issues. Just make sure you sign off at your report. Put closing remark. So based on that, let me run through what you have done. This is your cover page. And this is your executive summary. You can see you left some spaces, some lines. Should in case time permits you to come back to requirement 2, you can fill it in. Someone may now ask me, what if you are not able to fill in those spaces? Will you be penalized? No. Nobody will penalize you. They will mark what you do. Then this is introduction. Then this is requirement 1. Requirement 1, we have concluded on it. And this is the recommendation on requirement 1. This may be a requirement 2. We don't know what your examiner will ask, right? We are just introducing some information or some key requirements the examiner may ask. Conclusion, recommendation. If you are asked maybe to do appraisal of any plant or equipment, we use this. Appraisal of, or let's say analysis of business environment using framework, using SWOT. This is it here. This is PESTEL, and we have concluded. That's conclusion on SWOT. This is conclusion on PESTEL, and we've recommended, and this is our final remarks. Best regards, your signature, your boss name, and put is designation here. That is all. That is all. So I believe that at least every one of us now understands what we have to do. I repeat, by the time you get your question paper, go to Exhibit 6 and identify your requirements. Once you identify your requirements, what should you do? Put in your cover page. Someone is asking where will appendix fall into. We already know that appendix will be at the back. We already said appendix will be at the back. Use 10 pages at the back. Just open the 10 pages at the back and start your appendices. Make sure to come first. Appendices at the back. Your examiner will open every single page of your answer booklet to mark any necessary thing. So nobody will leave it out. I hope it is clear now. Appendices will be at the back. Open 10 pages. That's your working. Appendix is your working. Your working, your diagram, your table, everything will be at the back. You will not write body of the report anywhere. This is simple. Nobody is writing body of the report. No. You are only writing your title of requirement 1, title of requirement 2, headings, as the case may be. You won't write body of the report anywhere. It's as simple as that. You are not writing body of the report anywhere. Yes, now, someone is asking me, after you finish your requirement 2, are we going to summarize requirement 2? That is the essence of the lines you left. That is the essence of the lines you left. That's the answer framework. For those of you that are asking for it. is the answer framework. I'm going to drop it on the group. Don't worry. I'm going to drop it on the group. Don't worry. So, ladies and gentlemen, what time is it? 5, 6. It's towards 7 minutes. Okay, we can address all the questions on this call, right? So we're going to open the group so that you guys can drop your questions. I'm going to address them from now on, but not tonight. What I'll be doing now, I'm going to finalize. I'm going to finalize your report, your selected solution, so that you guys can start to practice. Some of you have requested for more work to include this project and this model, to include that model. So, which means it's going to delay that report a bit, but it's fine. This evening you will get it. Thank you all for attending this class. And apologies for those people that could not join while others were able to join, because yesterday we were still below 500. And if I say, okay, let me do another subscription for Zoom, it's going to waste our time, and that time is not there, right? So that's why. So, and since we will record it, so it's fine. Everybody's going to get a recording after the class. So thank you all. I wish you all. What is page SX? I don't expect someone to be asking me that anyway. What is page SX? Anywhere your requirement 1 stops, that's where requirement 2 starts from. So there's nothing like page access. It's just where your requirement 2 starts from. So we keep the group open for additional questions. And mind you, please, on a final note, please be confident. Do not be afraid. Case study should not whine you. Please and please. Case study should not whine you. Make sure you are confident of what you want to write. The most important thing is to know how you want to go about it. You know what to do, know what you want to do, and how to go about it. Once you get your answer booklet and your question paper, you know what you are doing, right? Go and identify your requirements and your requirements in Exhibit 6. And once you get that requirement, please and please go to your cover page. Don't let anybody rush you, right? Go to the cover page, do the cover page, leave page 2 and 3 for your executive summary. Go to your introduction and do it. After your introduction, look for both of the requirements. Anyone you want to start with. If it's requirement 1, you know, do it first. If it's requirement 2, you know first, do it first. It's not compulsory to say you must start from requirement 1. Any requirement you are starting with, you are good to go, you are fine. So, thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your evening. For those people asking about appendices, open the 10 pages at the back. The 10 pages at the back, start your appendices from there. Your answer booklet for case study is very much. As in, it's very much. The pages are very much. It will be enough. Your report, or maybe 5 pages from the back, just go and put your appendices there. And 10 pages from the back, you are fine. Don't let anybody distract you. Just compose yourself and be very, very organized. Some things may steal your joy in that examination hall. It's when you are not organized or where you do not know where to start from. Please know where to start from. Be organized. By the time you get your question paper and your answer, pray and just identify what you want to do and start as we have analyzed it like this. I pray that God, there's no header for cover page. Just write to from and you are good to go. So we'll be addressing other questions in the group. We'll keep the group chat open so that people can start asking questions. Thank you. For those of you raising your hands, I believe I should have answered your questions. If I have not answered those questions, we'll keep the group chat open. Answer your questions here. Please and please, from now on till what time? Till 8 p.m. Please, nobody should come my line, please. I want to finalize your suggested solution. and I want to focus on it. If you have any message, please drop it. I will answer, but please don't call my line. It should be very, very distracting. Thank you all. Because I know now some people will be calling me now. Where is the solution? Where is the solution? After I've said now that the thing is not ready, I want to finalize it. So thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye. God bless everyone. I wish you all the best. I remain yours in professionalism, yours in humanity, yours in simplicity. Kabiru, Yusuf, Aremu, ACA, ACTI. Bye for now.